Hello viewers, welcome to our lecture series on CSR, and in today's lecture of mine I am going to tell you about CSR in India, and my specific focus would be on statistics and trends of CSR in India. And in the previous lecture of mine we had a great discussion on CSR at global level. We could witness different examples from different continents of the world, and we were talking about what CSR is all about for different countries, different continents, because the perspectives are different, and in different countries the way corporate entities they are implementing their CSR ventures, the way they are achieving their target of ensuring a world where the corporate entities are acting or working in a responsible manner. So in today's lecture of mine, I will first be telling you about the evolution of CSR with the timeline that since 2013 when we started with this legal framework of CSR in India, and now it's been 10 years. So in a complete time span of a decade, that is 10 years, what are the achievements and what government of India has done for the CSR in terms of legal framework, the way corporate entities have responded to this, that all I'm going to present before you. We'll also have a discussion on philosophy behind CSR legislation in India, then the way it is creating value, and what is the impact of Indian corporate entities in the world of CSR. That is, these are the broad contours on which I'm going to tell you about what is going on in the Indian scenario, in the corridors of Indian corporate entities. This is what is our agenda of today's lecture. So let us start with the roadmap which is going to depict us the evolution of CSR along with the timeline. It was the year 2013 when we got this enactment of Companies Act 2013. And my dear learners, when we talk about CSR in India, it is basically reflected by this enactment which came in the year 2013. We got a complete revamp of our Companies Act, which was earlier known as Companies Act 1956, and now it is called as Companies Act 2013. So there is a complete revamp in the Companies Act 2013 because it was a year in which it was done. That is why we call it Companies Act 2013. And this year is very significant and important for the CSR, because we got the provision of section 135 under this act only. It was April 1, 2014 when we got this section 135 of Companies Act coming into the force. It was implemented with effect from April 1st, 2014. So in 13 we got this enactment, in 14 it was implemented, and in the year 2015 there was a high level committee which was set up for the review of CSR regulatory framework at inception stage, the way it is being implemented. That was the strategy by the government at that point of time, because it was for the first time when our government came with this kind of legal framework, when we started talking about CSR from the perspective of legal framework, from the perspective of putting a legal control over this activity, which other corporate entities or some of the corporate entities they were doing it voluntarily, they were doing it on voluntary basis, but now it is mandatory for certain sets of companies. Those who are fulfilling those eligibility criteria, they are supposed to spend 2% of their profit on the listed CSR activities or the identified CSR activities. So after the enactment in 2013, in 2014 it was implemented, in 15 we got a high level committee just to review, because and that was immediately after completion of 1 year of enactment of this enactment coming into the force. And in the year 2018, that is after next 3 years, there was a second high level committee which was set up, and this committee submitted its report in the year 2019, and there were certain recommendations on the CSR framework to Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and in 2019 we got that recommendation of that report of high level committee in the year 2019. In 2021, in the month of January, the Companies Amendment Rules 2021, based on second high level committee recommendation, came into the force. It was implemented, and my dear learners, although it was mandatory to spend on listed CSR activities till 2021, but the companies which failed to comply with those regulations. They were only supposed to comply or explain. There was no what you say is there was no legal action against them, but now there is a provision for that, by simply saying that I could not spend, that is not going to suffice the purpose. You have to be accountable for what you have done as a company, and the top executives of the companies, they are responsible for that. In the year 2022, that is in the month of February, company accounts amendment rules that came into the force, and companies are now supposed to file the form CSR 2 for this very purpose. And now we are standing at the year 2023 to tell you about this 10 years of journey of CSR in India in terms of legal framework. I won't say that this is a journey which started in the year 2013 only. When I say that I'm going to present before you the whereabout or the account details of this 10 years journey of Indian CSR, I'm not going to accept that in India we have implemented it for the first time. Even before 2013, the companies have been contributing significantly to the field of CSR by the way of their own contributions. Although the listed activities were not there, but still the top corporate entities of India, they have been proudly contributing to the cause of social responsibility, and they have been doing it. The best part of that is that they have been doing it on voluntary basis. There was no mandate for them, and still they have been contributing. And till date, if you find, there is a legal obligation of spending 2% of their profit on CSR, but they are going much ahead of the legal mandate, and they are spending much more than what they are supposed to spend in terms of listed CSR activities. So this is a brief journey of evolution of CSR journey, that is CSR legal framework, and with the timeline I tried to present before you, the way it started and now where we are standing. I'll be telling you at the fag end of this very lecture that what is going to be the future of CSR, the way we have started, from where we started and where we are heading. That is something which is very significant for us to witness here, because we have now the complete data of what is going on in the corridors of CSR in terms of not only the public enterprises, that is government companies, but also the corporate entities at large. Now, if we look at the philosophy behind CSR law, because it has actually been discussed at length, that whether it is good to have a mandatory CSR or we should continue with the voluntary CSR mechanism. So, my dear learners, that debate is now almost over as far as India is concerned, because people have started realizing it or finding it a very systematic way of contributing to the cause for which we are working. So basically, if you ask me, I would say that it has brought discipline to this entire discourse of CSR in India. As a keen learner and student of CSR, I would say that it has actually made these corporate entities disciplined. They were contributing, there is no doubt about that. I'm not discounting their contribution by saying that the mandate was necessary. I would say that they have been contributing, but now they have got a systematic plan for contributing to the cause, for acting in a responsible manner. Now they know they have the listed activities. Earlier they were not aware of what is going on in the entire society at large. Now they have the listed activities in Schedule 7, and they can choose from those listed activities. Not only that, where to spend, how to spend. Where to spend is there, and how to spend, that is also being guided by the enactment, by the legal framework, that you can take help of different entities. That also I would be presenting before you in brief, because since we are talking about CSR in Indian scenario with statistical inputs, so it is very necessary for us to understand that what is the real philosophy, what is the true philosophy behind CSR enactment, and in the light of emerging CSR scenario in India. So through CSR, what exactly we want as a corporate entity. My dear learners, it is very important for us to understand that what is the motive behind implementing this CSR in terms of legal mandate, or by the way of section 135. We need to understand that what corporate entities are supposed to do. They are supposed to first assess the needs of the community through a consultation mode. This is basically the philosophy, that you should, as a corporate entity, wherever you are operating, in whatever area you are operating, you should first try to assess the needs of the community by the way of consulting. You can have a discussion with those stakeholders, the area in which you are operating, and you can assess that what exactly the need is, and according to their need you can have your own strategy for implementing CSR in Indian scenario. So I would say that philosophy is not to simply go to the listed activities and identify an activity that, see, this is a convenience zone for me, and I would be spending money on 2% of my profit on these listed CSR activities. That is not at all the objective. The objective is to assess the need, the local needs, or the regional needs. I would say that you should first, as a corporate entity, you should try to identify and assess those need sets which are there. The second is that you have to initiate the second step is that you have to find out with the measurable budgets that which I can plan. You can decide your timelines, you can decide your outcome. That is also very important. So you have to initiate the project activities, that out of those listed activities or the local needs which are there in front of me, and I have to cater to those needs. I have to find out the measurable budget, that how much amount am I supposed to spend. Can I finance that project in 1 year with the help of the profit of 1 year, or I need a total time span of say 3, 4, 5 years or 10 years? Because that would actually help you as a corporate entity to plan for that entire segment. So you have to find the needs, and then you have to identify, or you have to chalk out the measurable budgets. You have to take up the timeline, that, see, this is the target for me. 10 years down the line, this is my objective, is 5 years down the line, this would be my goal, or for the next financial year, by the end of this financial year, this would be my target. So this is the second step. The third step is that you have to actually create an impactful sustainable development. And when I say impactful sustainable development, my intention is to indicate that whatever development, whatever contribution you are going to make by the way of your own plans, by the way of the need assessment and your measurable budgets, timelines and outcome, you have to actually ensure that whatever is the need of the society, by the way of contributing to that, you are having an impactful sustainable development. You are contributing to the impactful sustainable development of the society. And the next step is that project is to be monitored by the CSR committee of the board. It is not like that you have got a very good plan, you have got a wonderful plan, you have conducted the need assessment, you have chalked out the entire timeline, the budget and outcome. You are also ensuring that by the way of contributing to this field, you would be ensuring sustainable development. But what about the monitoring of that CSR project on which you are going to work? So for that, this CSR committee which you have constituted as per the mandate, that is supposed to monitor that entire plan which you have implemented. So my dear learners, the entire philosophy of CSR is this. It is not that which you are finding in the legal framework of CSR. Some people think that, see, by companies fulfilling the eligibility criteria, my turnover and profits are above that limit, or they are indicating that I need to spend 2% of my profit of last 3 years, average net profit of last 3 years, I have to contribute. You have identified the listed activities and you have spent that money. No. That is the modus operandi, that is a minimum criteria which the enactment, which the law is actually presenting before you, which the law is mandating to you as a corporate entity. But you need to first understand what is the philosophy behind this CSR legislation. What is the objective? While drafting the regulation, while drafting the rules and regulations for CSR, what was there in the minds of the policy makers? And I would say that you have to first understand the philosophy, then only you can contribute to the impactful sustainable development of the society. So the CSR efforts, if you are effectively channelizing, it can play a catalytic role, or it would play a role of a catalyst leading to a better utilization and impact of government efforts. So whatever government is contributing, Suppose if you take example of health or education, either health or education, government is making its own effort, but we cannot leave everything to the government only. And we as a responsible citizen of this country, and when I say responsible citizen, even corporate entities, they are now regarded as corporate citizens. So as a citizen of the country, it is our duty that we should contribute to the good cause, to the efforts of the government. And if you understand the philosophy of CSR legislation in true spirits, it can actually, your CSR efforts can actually play the role of a catalyst, and it would eventually lead to a better utilization and impact of government efforts. And not only that, it would also create strong synergies with civil society organizations. You would actually be known for, your company would actually be known for this responsible act of yours also. And there is no point spending a huge amount on advertisement only. Advertisement, I'm not saying that it is not necessary, it is necessary, but by the way of advertisement, you can inform your customers, you can persuade your customers, you can remind your customers. But imagine when the society at large is understanding the very contribution of yours. They understand that, see, this is a company which, apart from doing its own business, it is also contributing to the betterment of society. It is also working with the government institution, with the NGOs, for eliminating the emerging problems of the society in which we are living. So your responsible act is going to have a long impact, have a long standing impact in the mindsets of the customers or the society at large. So you would occupy the place not only in the mind of the customers, but also the heart of the customer. So in the mind and hearts of the customer, you are going to win their heart by contributing to the causes, to the emerging problems of society, and ensuring a place, ensuring a society that would end up in ensuring a society where we are having the development which is sustainable, which is not short lived, which is not for the short term, and your company is going to have its own brand equity in the mind and hearts of the civil society. So you can also contribute to the value creation. This value creation term, when it comes, it is very important for us to understand that in this entire philosophy of CSR, our objective is not only to simply spend some amount on those listed activities, but also to create value. And what are the ways to create value, that I am going to tell you. First is, you can reconceive your products and markets. You can solve societal problems by companies, products and services. It is not necessary that you have to spend on health and education only, or you have to spend on listed activities only, or you have to go for disaster management only. Even by the way of reconceiving your products and markets, if you are solving societal problems by your own products and services, your society is actually encountered with a specific problem. They are encountering with a specific problem, and your product or services, they are emerging as a solution to that. It means that you are contributing towards the betterment of the society. So even by the way of reconceiving your products and markets according to the needs of the society, that is also a way of contributing to the CSR. That is also a way of acting responsibly as a company. Second is, you can go for consuming your resources as efficiently and productively as possible. So to the possible extent, you are going to reduce your consumption of resources. You are using your resources efficiently. You are not causing any waste. You are not causing any harm to the ecology, to the environment of your country. That is also a way of creating your value chains. So that is, technically we call it reconfiguring the value chains. So you can also reconfigure the value chains, and by the way of that also you can create values. Next is that you can invest outside the company's operations for local communities development. So you are making investment into your business, that is fine, that is your objective of making profit, and for that you need your investment. But when you are investing outside the company's operations for the development of local communities, that is also creating a value, and technically we call it enabling local cluster development. So my dear learners, in this entire process of operating your business as a responsible entity, we are going to create value in a mindful manner. We can solve problems in three different ways which I have just discussed, or which I have just presented before you, and it can lead to your winning your competitive success. So you are being competitive to contribute in a better manner to the development of society. My dear learners, some people think that we talk about cutthroat competition. Gone are the days when we were talking about the competition which was cutthroat. Your survival is dependent on not the demolition of or vanishing of the other competitors. Your survival is dependent upon the way how better you are contributing to the betterment of the society. To what extent you are creating a value in the mindset of the customers, to what extent you are impactful in terms of acting responsibly. That is going to create value in the name of your company, that see, this is the company which is regarded as the most ethical company of this country, or even in the world. You can occupy some rank over there. Now in India we talk about the companies, the top 10 spenders, that who are the top 10 spenders, which company is contributing the highest to the cause of CSR. And you would be surprised to know that now companies are competing to contribute, that see, we should be in top 10 of CSR spenders. And that is the beauty of this legal framework, that now it has brought a discipline in the corridors of CSR, where companies are operating in a disciplined manner, that too in a responsible manner. So with this philosophy and value creation model, we need to understand that what was the objective behind having this legal framework. My dear learners, when this enactment came, n number of seminars and conferences were organized by not only industry but also the academia, to discuss, deliberate and debate on this very aspect of CSR, that do we really need a legal framework for CSR, do we really need a mandatory CSR. And of course there were certain people, there were certain group of experts who were in the favor of this, and of course there were certain experts who were against it. But over a period of time we have realized that this kind of legal framework have actually brought discipline, a greater amount of discipline to this entire discourse of CSR. And for that we need to be thankful to the government for frequently changing, for frequently revising the or amending, I would say amending the law, and by understanding, by realizing the need of the corporate entities and society at large, they have made certain modifications, and those modifications were needed also. So that revision was very much needed, and that revision is indicating that the way we are inching towards the success of creating a sustainable society, creating an environment where we look at our development is sustainable, our development is not short-lived. This is basically it is the philosophy of CSR which have actually guided us, which have actually forced us to understand that, see, this is the way you have to contribute to the special cause of the social responsibility. The government is and if we look at the entire discourse of CSR in terms of law, government is not behind the companies. They are not forcing the companies. They are rather offering the congenial atmosphere to the corporate entities to operate in a better way. The government is giving adequate leeway to industry, and they are trusting they have strong faith in the corporate entities, and they believe that these companies shall definitely do meaningfully good for the society. So government, there is no trust deficit as far as the legal framework, government and corporate entities are concerned. So this legal framework is not at all a reflection of trust deficit between the company and the government. Government is having complete faith in these corporate entities, and they assume that they are going to contribute meaningfully good for the society. And the utmost reflection of this you can find in the way in the rule of comply or explain. If you are not able to comply, you have to simply explain, and lot of flexibility is there. You won't find the CSR law to be rigid as far as Indian scenario is concerned. It is having flexibility, it is offering flexibility to those corporate entities. And now we can say with pride that Companies Act is a path-breaking development, and it was thought 10 years ago, a decade ago. that if done in the right way, India would have the potential to become a leader and trendsetter in this domain, and we are inching towards that, and you can find the reflection of the same in the data which I am going to present before you. So public private partnership, that is PPP model, between the corporate entities, government and NGOs, it is actually leading to the national development, and we call it as bottom up development, where the development is coming from the bottom. And our honorable Prime Minister have also said that sabka saath, sabka vikas and sabka prayas. So when everybody is contributing, when everybody is making effort, of course the development is supposed to happen for everybody. So development by everyone, for everyone, and with the help of everyone, that is the agenda of the government, and it has actually it is actually fructifying. The results you can find that they are coming in front of us. So new CSR scenario, if we look at, it talks about social entrepreneurship, where we talk about the entrepreneurship which is actually keeping in mind the social problems, the emerging social problems, the endless opportunities or possibilities for innovation to gain scale and bring widespread positive change. So my dear learners, this was basically the CSR provision of implemented by the Government of India, and Section 135 Companies Act 2013, which when it came into the force, we all know that if a company is fulfilling those criteria, they are supposed to spend 2% of their profit on listed CSR activity. I am not going to repeat it, because we have already discussed in the introductory part that what is the provision all about, where companies are supposed to, where the role of the board of the company is decided, there is a CSR committee and it is accountable for that, and the way it is implemented. So that we have already discussed in the previous lecture of mine, when I told you that the way CSR is implemented in India. So it's time to have a look at the overall scenario that CSR can be undertaken in several ways as per Schedule 7 of the Companies Act. Either you can go for using your own vehicle of the company, you can have your own NGO, your own foundation. It can be new activities route from Form CSR 1 they have to fill. It can be a registered trust, it can be a society under 1860 Act, it can be a Section 8 company, you can use external vehicle, you can use internal vehicle, you can make good use of central or state government vehicle, it can be a new activities route. You can also go for having the help of those entities which are established by the special enactment of Parliament, state legislature or the central legislature established entity. You can take help of those companies, you can contribute to the PM CARES fund, you can contribute to the PM National Relief Fund or any other central government fund which is for scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, other backward caste, Swachh Bharat Kosh, Clean Ganga Fund, and there are number of listed activities where you can contribute. So my dear learners, these are the different ways as per Schedule 7 where you can spend your amount. So now there is no dearth of having the idea. There is no dearth of idea that how to contribute and where to contribute. So where to contribute, that is already, you find a huge list according to your choice. You can decide. You find an indicative list that these are the areas, broad domains where you can identify the local problems and you can contribute in a responsible manner. And also the way out, the way you have to spend those amounts. So my dear learners, in this way I have told you a brief history of the entire timeline of CSR implementation in India, the way this journey started in the year 2013 and now it is 2023. So all amendments we have discussed. In the next lecture of mine, I will be presenting before you the key statistics of this 10 years journey of CSR in terms of legal framework. So the year from which we got this enactment of Companies Act 2013, Section 135. I hope you must have understood and enjoyed today's lecture of mine. Thank you so much.